the principles about learning in after-school time are really about engaging the whole child, which is what I think good educators do and good school systems should be thinking about all the time. And the research and work that's been happening increasingly, thinking about all of the time that young people are awake and active in the world and how we're, as adults and communities, supporting young people to be learning and becoming more pro-socially integrated into the life of our communities. So these principles, I think, are really important, not just for thinking about the structure or the moment after school, but just in general for how communities think about engaging young people and working together to really both invite young people into the world of work and learning, and also helping young people explore what they're passionate about. Getting connected to things that you really care about, having real activities that you're working on, doing it with other people so that you're getting a chance to build some social construction of meaning and bouncing stuff off, and then developing mastery. I mean, it feels good when you get good at something, and
Definitely.
I think that's really important. Increasingly, a focus on instruction has been moving, particularly with what's called the Common Core, a new kind of the adoption of what kids should know and be able to do, adopted now by most states across the country. But I think that the principles, the guiding principles that have really been pushed forward recently in the learning and after-school time are helping us think more about the whole child, about community schools, about connecting the world that our young people and families live in with the schoolhouse. And so we have to get much more thoughtful and, I think, engaging with community to advance reform, so that it's about not just about school reform, it's about changing our notions of learning, engaging, and kind of inviting a fuller experience for what learning can be. And I think the, quote, after school time is really pushing that and helping change ideas about what we should be doing inside of school. The really exciting part of what's coming up about brain research, and the more we know about how young people learn and how human beings learn, is that we need to change the daily experience inside of school, and also remember that kids are in school for only a very, quote, small section of their time, right? And so how are we supporting young people to know, learn, and be productive citizens? Adults have to start thinking different. And I think that staying close to learning theory and helping people understand that they have something, even though they think they know and they're educators, but there's more to know and learn about learning, I think is a really important way to proceed, because if we can continue to basically teach and help people who are responsible for education know that they have to be learners themselves, I think that helps us change the conversation. And sometimes you can't really change people's beliefs just by talking about something. They have to actually start doing some things different, and they change their practice, and then their beliefs start to change. So I think staying grounded in the research and talking about the ideas of learning help to change the conversation over time. And then we can, with, I think, more evidence, the more evidence we have, the more people are likely to start changing their behaviors, start saying, hey, the whole community should be the learning environment. We should have more structured opportunities for kids to take the lead on stuff and bring what they're learning, quote, outside of the school back in to be relevant. And that way I think educators can be the learners also. So I think the guiding principles are essential. I think it's so important to have a set of core ideas that you can work around, and the guiding principles and the way that they've been compiled and put together for the learning and after school time, I think are really important. Obviously, the work of being in relationship with people, working deeply on stuff, really stuff you care about, matters. The thing that is fundamentally important to me, though, is about expanding horizons, about the opportunity for young people to see possible futures and sometimes, particularly in the urban setting or quite frankly in any setting, sometimes young people don't have folks around them that are helping to expand the notions of what's possible for them, who are looking into their eyes and saying, I see greatness in you, and I see more than you see in yourself right now. Many times, young people aren't exposed or don't have opportunities to see other places or other ways of living, expressing yourself. So expanding those horizons becomes really critical, and I think part of the after school time opportunities is that you're less tethered to the school building. You can go do other stuff, you can get further afield and actually get into some uncomfortable and different situations that provoke, I never really thought about it like that, or maybe I could, or I really liked when we went there and I saw that, and get interested in something very different than what your normal routine is. I think when you have young people who only know a few square blocks, it can be fundamentally transformative. And so the notion of changing ideas about self, about changing ideas about possible futures, all the other pieces, all the other guiding principles, really important, but taking serious that we have a responsibility to encourage, activate, and energize notions of possible futures, expanding horizons. That's the one that I really think after school is uniquely and importantly positioned to do. I think when we don't pay attention to what really works for everybody, but young people in particular, about developing mastery, about caring about things, about working closely with others, that we recreate the conditions for young people to disengage. That this idea of dropping out of high school, I think that's a slow process of pushing kids out of the system. If we don't pay attention to what we know works for human beings, what we're learning about human development and all the learning, the research, then we're responsible for making it less likely that young people realize their potential, that they're connected, that they take leadership in positive ways. But young people are powerful, and they want to have agency and exert energy on the world. And unless we're helping them do that and learning and kind of helping with some boundaries and here's what works and try this and structuring places where kids can work together thoughtfully and productively. You don't just collaborate on accident. You have to learn how to do that. And if we don't do that well, I think we're responsible for young people checking out and being outside of the system.